Hey everybody, welcome to INE Live. I'm your host, Catherine Brown. Today we're diving into cloud with INE's newest cloud instructor, Dr. Melissa Harris. We'll jump into details on that in just a moment. We are so glad you're here with us today. First, want to get to a little housekeeping as we do each time we stream here on INE Live. I want to let you know that we are streaming live right now across social media platforms, including LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Be sure to like and subscribe on the social media platform you're using so you can stay in the loop when we go live. And we, of course, want you to get involved. Talk to us, talk to others. I love to see the chat jump in. The Bearded IT Dad weighing in with a woot woot. Love it. Our team is monitoring chat. If you have a comment, drop it in. If you have a question, do us a favor, put a Q at the beginning of those questions so we can find those easily. And we'll get to as many as we can today. I know we're going to have a lot of great questions today because we have Dr. Melissa Harris with us. She is an AWS instructor here at INE based in New York City, and she's had a very, very interesting career path. We'll dive into details, but I'll just give you a tease, earning a PhD in neuroscience from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, then somehow found her way into IT and cloud computing, so quite a journey there. Melissa worked at Amazon AWS for 5.5 years as a technical writer, first and then in training, and we're so fortunate to now have her here at INE and with us on the stream today. Melissa, so glad you are here.
Hi, Catherine. It's so great to be here. Hello, everybody. I know I can't see you, but hello. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Happy to have you here. So I know you just wrapped up your first course, and we're going to get kind of get into that. I know you had a demo for us in a little bit, but my first question, just from that intro, how did you possibly go from a PhD in neuroscience to a cloud instructor for INE? Like, how does that journey track?
That's a great question. And really, the reason I'm here at INE is because Richard McLean wants me to conduct brain scans of our students as they're watching INE training so that we can look at the neural correlates and the higher order memory structures in the brain. So that's actually why I'm here. The training is just at the front.
Good to know. So you've all been warned. You've all been warned.
You've all been warned. This is totally IRB approved. Don't worry. Also, that was a total joke. You didn't know. No, I in my career, like I've had many intellectual interests. So neuroscience, heart valves, and learning about the circulatory system, and cloud training, and you know, like while my PhD is in neuroscience, I consider my expertise really to be in communications. And so, you know, it's a really kind of crazy career path, but it's kind of the common thread that in graduate school, and you know, I was really interested in breaking down hard concepts for lay people, and just trying to explain and make my research more accessible and understandable to everyone. And so I guess I kind of pursued that, and literally it kind of shaped my career. And so then I got into medical writing, same thing, and then and just because I'm naturally curious about a lot of different topics, that's how I got into IT. And again, it's just all because of my passion for writing and communications. So that's a long, you know, that's the short answer. The long answer probably requires a lot of alcohol, but we don't have that, so.
We'll reserve that for next time for your encore presentation here on INE Live. No, that's awesome, and I think that you know, in talking with a lot of instructors, that is one thing, kind of a common thread that I've found is that really, really talented and strong instructors love that. That idea of taking these complicated concepts, whether it's in the medical field, whether it's in IT, whether it's in, you know, something completely different, and breaking down those hard and challenging concepts into bite-sized nuggets and making it sort of easier for people to understand. When you were, I'm curious, when you were in the neuroscience field, were you interested in teaching in that field as well, and kind of just shifted that over to the IT industry, or were you planning to do something completely different?
That's, I guess, like after graduate school, I just really wanted to shift gears and go into industry, and so I've always kind of had that focus. But certainly I did consider teaching, and I did enjoy teaching in graduate school when I gave seminars and things like that. But but you know, it's like there was never in my in college and things, it didn't prepare me for like the rich like world. I didn't know about corporate training, for example. Like I didn't realize that was a thing, and so it's just I kind of stumbled into it. I'm really happy that I did, but it was never anything that I like deliberately I guess sought out. But like I'm just thrilled, and I love it, and part of I guess what I part of what got me into this is I love connecting with people, and it's my desire. Like I love I love writing, I love creating training and courses, but it's when I became a trainer at AWS, it was really the desire to connect with our customers, to understand, like get a first-hand understanding of what problems they're trying to solve, what are their pain points, and then trying to get that story to help them understand how to use AWS services better. And so that was really the driver for my decision to go into training formally. And so then I have like this desire to create as well, and I'm a designer and I'm a creator. So, and then this opportunity at INE came up to, it's like they want someone that not only delivers training, which is great, but also designs and creates it. So I feel very fortunate to be here.
We feel very fortunate that you are here as well. And Tracy Wallace weighed in on the comments, heart valves, neuroscience, and cloud, the big three. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows
again, it's all part of Richard's master plan to have IT training on a chip in our brains, so that's totally why I'm here. That's totally it.
Speaking of teaching, what's your favorite topic to teach? You're an AWS instructor. Is there a specific topic that you gravitate toward and just love teaching?
I mean, I've thought about this, but it's like honestly no. I love all of my courses. I love all of the topics, and it sounds like kind of like a BS answer, but it's genuinely the case that like I fall in love with every topic that I research and that I put together. Like I feel like all of my courses, whether it was at AWS, whether it's here, other, like when I was in grad school, it's just like I love learning new things, and with cloud, I'm always learning new things. I'm always kind of surprised at the breadth and depth of this area. And so, and I guess for someone like me that's so curious, like I'm never bored. So I really fall in love with all of the courses that I put together. And so I know it sounds like I should be like, I heart networking, but then it's like, I mean, I do, but it's like, it's like now, like, I'm developing a new course and I'm finding this subject area really awesome too. So yeah, I guess no.
Fair enough. You kind of fall in love with each as you're creating it. I know you mentioned networking. I know you just wrapped up your first course, AWS Networking. It's a 10-hour course, and first of all, congrats. We're so excited that you have completed your first course here. Wondering if you could just kind of tell us a little about the course, what it entails, what it's about, the high points for us.
Sure. Well, as the name suggests, it's about networking on AWS. And I'm not
Great name, by the way.
So, but no, it's really designed to get you up and building a networking environment very quickly on the AWS cloud. And so it's covering things from designing a networking environment to building it and the different factors that are involved in that. And then once you've stood up that networking environment, then you want to start moving packets around, because you've created an isolated environment. So we want to talk about routing. And then after that, we're going to be looking at how do we monitor network traffic, and also what just connecting that environment to other networks, and to and what DNS looks like in the cloud, and what content delivery networks look like in the cloud. So that sort of thing. And what I'm not going into in the class is like setting up hybrid networking environments with VPN and things like that. So that was going to be saved for a different course. But anyway, so that's the gist of what this one is about.
Yeah, I find it interesting that just it seems like more and more we're blurring the lines between these what have traditionally been, isolated verticals, cloud, networking, cybersecurity, and now it just seems more and more that the line is very blurry, that they're all so interconnected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I've kind of addressed that a bit in the course as well. So I've definitely and so one of the amazing things about the INE platform, for real, is that we have all those subject matter experts in networking, in cybersecurity, and in cloud as well. And so just trying to like draw on their expertise as I'm like building the class was really a lot of fun for me, and trying to get them to help me explain concepts and make it a more engaging experience, for sure.
Awesome. And Sir Pasha saying they are already halfway through the course with a smiley face, so we're going to assume that they are loving the course. Yeah, love it. And I want to take this moment just to remind everyone, hang out, stay with us. We have a giveaway coming toward the end of the show. We're going to get to know Melissa a little bit more, dive into a demo, then we're going to give away some fun prizes. So stick around. Just wanted to mention that. Melissa, as you're creating training courses and designing these, what's your fundamental philosophy?
Honestly, my fundamental philosophy is that the customer is first, and really working at AWS, I think, really drove that home for me, and it really reinforced that for me. And I kind of already had that tendency before AWS, but it really, I mean, their number one leadership principle is customer obsession, and so I've really taken that to heart. But it's the God's honest truth, and when you're developing, I don't really care what it is. I don't care if you're developing training for cloud computing, if you're developing, if you're creating a sweater, if you're knitting a sweater for someone, or making a dish. It's like you always have to think about who is consuming this, who's using it. And so I guess, and that is kind of the driving principle for everything that I design, and cloud is no exception. And I guess it's particularly challenging with delivering training for cloud, because you have people from all different backgrounds. Like, I don't know who you are that's taking my class, but and so it's like you might have 20 years of IT experience, and you've pulled cables and you've racked and stacked servers, or you might be born in the cloud and have never racked or stacked a server in your life, and like trying to develop training with those different audiences in mind and what their backgrounds are is really, I guess, challenging, and part of what makes it really fun, because that idea that the customer comes first literally drives every single thing that I put into my class. It drives what I say, it drives the graphics that I use, the level of depth that I go into. It shapes, of course, learning objectives. I mean, absolutely everything. So I suppose that is my guiding my guiding principle. I know it's like very verbose, but yeah.
No, that's great. And just going back to your point of thinking about the end user and thinking about the customer and who is going to be consuming this. I know as you were creating the course, you went through a number of job descriptions and like actually took notes on exactly what these high profile jobs were looking for, and implemented those demands into the class.
Yeah. Exactly, and that was one of the things, and just going through and trying to figure out, like the purpose of the training is to help our students get jobs and to get their professional certifications. And so the logical place to start to get that kind of information is to look, to look to do this kind of research, this kind of needs analysis, and to understand, all right, well, what are the job descriptions for a cloud engineer? What is it for a network engineer? What's the overlap between them? What are the skills that they need? So that was definitely what informed all of the learning objectives. But there were a lot of other, so that is first and foremost. And then just, I have like a different philosophy when it comes to designing training, I guess, and I've really had the fortune of having really good mentors early on in my career that helped me with this. But the other design factors, I guess, is just making the content modular, so that it's, you could watch a video in 10 minutes on your break, So really having that, it's not, and then that's good for a variety of other reasons as well. But also, I suppose just and like making the content engaging and like and so like figuring out the learning objectives, trying to tell a story, arranging everything in a logical order. That's part of what I do, part of what I enjoy most about being a curriculum developer / trainer. It's again making the content engaging, and I just so that's not like death by PowerPoint or anything. People hate
As much as
that,
everyone
but-
loves that. As much as everyone loves that.
Yeah, but yeah, and so I guess and then I suppose the other thing that I care about very much is in terms of the modularization, it's trying to get a few concepts across really well in a video, and it's not like overloading people with information that they can't absorb. And so I try very hard to make it digestible and memorable, and not flood the consciousness with a lot of like too much information, like I'm doing now.
No,
It's not.
This is great, because I think we're really getting a sense and a flavor of the class and some of the unique things that you bring to it. I want to put just a pin in this conversation. We're going to get back to more about your course in a second, but we've had some great comments coming up and questions. So I just want to get to a couple of questions from the comments. Vineet asks, we have evolved from physical storage to cloud. Do you think there is or will be something that eventually replaces cloud?
Wow, the future of cloud. That is. I am. That is a fabulous question. I'm not sure that I'm the right person to answer that. I'm sure that someday something will come along, but I think that a lot of the issues with cloud are really around security. Like, and this is my personal perspective. I think a lot of it is going to be around security, and people aren't going to adopt it if it's not secure, if they can't figure that out and really solve those problems. And I think so I personally think that that's like the number one thing that has to be in place. But I mean, I am sure that there's probably a lot of really cool research that's being done that is going to surpass cloud someday, but I'm not.
Well, when you look at cloud right now, I mean, it's really just in its infancy. We're so early, and there's so much potential yet to be tapped when it comes to this. To your point, nailing the security is key to evolving it, right?
Right, exactly, and especially as more businesses are going to the cloud, it's really essential that they meet those security requirements. And so I think that's personally like one of the subjects I'm most interested in cloud research right now, or cloud computing. But I love the question. It's just like I feel like I'm not sure I'm the right one to answer that, but thank you.
Yeah, I think that's great. Kamal also weighing in. Wow, nice question. So props to you, Vineet, for the question. Another one coming in. This is from Suhail. Is there any cloud content coming up that's more geared toward pen testers? As we're talking about this, these lines blurring.
Yeah, I think that we're definitely going to be like working on security courses and things like that, and working with PTA. So I don't have more information about that, but yeah.
So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Suhail.
Stay tuned. Yes.
Okay.
I definitely want to work on that. So
yeah. All right. Stay tuned. Don't go too far. Sign up for our notifications. Right.
Great.
All right. Yeah. To get back to your networking course, right? There are plenty of cloud networking courses out there. I mean, you can Google, you can find a million, but there are some things about this course, your course, that are very unique. So I wonder if you could just kind of delineate those. What differentiates this course from other networking courses?
That is a wonderful question. So there are a few things that come to mind about my course in particular. first, like, since the very beginning, my colleague Brooks and I really cared about, like, we really have a philosophy where we want to create scaffolding and hang concepts on that. And so you have like kind of a logical progression of concepts, and everything builds on each other. And so when we were designing the learning path, we're like, all right, and he talked about security and infrastructure as code, and like those are just kind of high level. But then the idea was that we were going to take those concepts, like, all right, you know what an IAM role is, now you know what an IAM user is, now we're going to apply that in the context of our respective subjects. So like we're going to talk about IAM and security in the networking course, or what IAC looks like, and how we're going to deploy a VPC, but we're going to break this up into multiple Terraform modules. And like, so, like, rather than, I guess what I'm getting at is, like, rather than having a course that's like where IAC, for example, or monitoring is like its own subject, it's like we've embedded those concepts at the appropriate places within our courses. And I think that's one of the things that makes it very unique. I mentioned just the modularity and the precision of the videos. I also, as I was saying, like I really put a lot of thought into like everything that I'm creating. So like if it slides, like every single thing, like I don't believe in stock art and crazy worded slide. Like I'm very deliberate in what I choose to put in. It's all custom. And I really put a lot of love into my product, and so that's something, I guess. Of course, like like I try to add warmth to my training, and I call you guys my builders, because you are. It's just you and me in the virtual asynchronous learning environment. So there's that, and then of course my personality, and of course then there's my turtle Clyde. So, Clyde is like, he's part of all my demos just because I like weird, I like quirky, and I try to keep it fun for myself too. So you'll never see Clyde in another.
Clyde is exclusive to INE. That's great to know. He's an exclusive contract.
Yeah, but no. So yeah, I suppose. But and then one of the things that I'm most excited about with the course is just, again, leveraging the fact that INE has we have a very broad platform, and so it's like I can literally go and reach out to Cisco certified internetwork experts and then drag them into my crazy world. And so
which you do. I mean, right? Like, fair point. Like Keith Bogart is in one of your courses, like.
Yes, but I mean, that's what I mean. It's like, I don't know another like training, like another networking course where like you're pulling in a networking expert, CCIE, to talk to you about IP addressing. And it's like, and I love how, and then with Brooks, I dragged him in to like talk to me about like IAC, because he's like, he knows everything about Terraform. So it's like, I feel like I'm very lucky to like work with these amazing people, and I rope them into my crazy world, and I think it's fun to have more interview styles. So I've flavored the courses. I've put some of that in, not all of it, but like there are several videos like that, and I just think it adds a richness to the training that I couldn't just give on my. I mean, I know I have a huge personality, but I think that having them in the course just made it fun. It made it fun for me, and I hope it makes it fun for my students. And it's like I'm just gonna stop there.
We love your big personality.
Thank you.
We love it. Hey, I wanted to get back to something. Tracy actually just pinged me. I know he's watching this. Tracy Wallace, a lot of you are familiar with him. And he mentioned that, I don't know why I didn't think about this when, I can't remember who it was that asked about pen testing and the cloud, but we just dropped an awesome tool, AWS GOAT. And so we're going to put up a link on our socials about that. This is a really exciting new tool. We just debuted it at Black Hat. We were all, a team of us out in Las Vegas. last week debuting this, and essentially it's a realistic training ground for AWS exploitation techniques. It's intentionally vulnerable. So we're going to put up a link to that. I don't want to get too deep into that because we can go down a rabbit hole there, and we'll end up like 6 hours later still talking about this. So just wanted to drop that there, though. Tracy, thanks for pinging me on that. We're going to drop links to the training and to the blog in all of our social channels. So just wanted to mention that really quick. I want to get to another couple questions over here. My mouse froze. Hang on a second. All right. So Edmundo asks, what should be a good training plan for someone who's been historically hardware Cisco-based environment and now more needing to work in a hybrid physical AWS VPC AWS outpost?
Yeah, I mean, I think that my course is a really good place to start learning that, for sure. And like I said, I'm not covering hybrid networking in my course right now, but definitely that's a course that I want to develop. And so, I suggest, I'm not trying to, I mean, I am evangelizing my class, but for
I feel like I am actually.
It's a very good place to get started with that. But I know it can be, and I do have you in mind because, it's like I have talked to, I have talked to Cisco certified engineers and everything, and it's like they have questions. It's like, okay, well, we have this box and this router, and we have cables, and I'm connecting to, and I'm using serial cables to connect to the Cisco console and everything, and it's like, but with cloud, like, where is all this network traffic going? Not too clear on this. It's like, it's not a physical box that I can, I can't just take the server off of the rack and troubleshoot if there's a problem or some security issue. It's like, where is all this traffic going? And so, like, it's definitely, I feel you, and so I feel like this is my course is a good place to get started.
Awesome. So kind of to piggyback off of that in the same vein, a LinkedIn user asks, since cloud service provider specific knowledge is important, how do you think we should approach managing a multi-cloud environment? Gosh,
that's a good, how do you go about managing a multi-cloud environment? Yeah, that's a that's a fabulous question. Very carefully. No, I don't mean to be a jerk. That's terrible. I don't have a good answer for you right now about that. I'd have to think about that. I'm sorry.
All right, we will work on that. Maybe circle back to that. But thank you for the question. You guys are popping on the questions today. Really good, thoughtful questions.
Yeah, I love them, and like we are, like, this whole learning path that we're designing is a multi-cloud learning path. So, like, Brooks and I are developing the AWS engineer portion, but we are, Tracy's also working on the Azure side. So we are, like, keeping that in mind as we're building all of these courses. So you're going to get the flavor of, of the different cloud service providers and what they offer, and so. I think I love your question, and I definitely wish that I feel like it needs to. I feel like we need to address it well in our courses and explain that. And so, thank you for your question.
Awesome. Getting a lot of people very excited about AWS GOAT on the comments. So that's awesome. Hope you guys can go check it out. Also, a lot of jokes about lions, tigers, bears, rats, all other sorts of animals up in here. It's an animal chat today. Hey, Melissa, as you were creating this course, I imagine there had to be some really funny stories or like things that you didn't expect, right? Because for every project that you embark on, there's always things that happen that just kind of come out of nowhere. Any particularly interesting or unexpected stories that you have from your time creating this course?
Yeah. It came up when I was creating the DNS videos and trying to explain what DNS looks like in the cloud, domain name service, and so wanted to do a video where I was going to show students how to create an alias record and in order to map a domain name to an S3 bucket that was hosting a website. And so I had registered a domain name in my own personal account, and that's what I was going to use because anyway, and I was really excited about this idea, but I'm like, it's my personal account, and I should probably like run this by my team. And so I was like, telling Brooks and Tracy, and Tracy's like, wait, what's your domain name? And I was like, Tracy, it's insert inappropriate, most likely not inappropriate, but insert like insert cheeky website, domain name here. Wouldn't this be hilarious? And then he's like, that's not work appropriate. It's funny, but you're not doing that. So no, so I can't. So anyway, then I went to like demo.ine.com or something like that instead of the one I'm using for my blog. But anyway, so that happened. Did not think about that, but I'm glad that I thought about asking my manager before I did that.
Well, as someone with a hand in marketing and public relations for INE, I appreciate Tracy pulling you back on that one.
He's like, cute, but no.
Cute, but no.
We're not going to go there.
No, that's awesome. And I know that you have such a great rapport with the team. You, Tracy, Brooks, you guys work so well together. You're three of the most fun people to hang out with, and conversations between any of the three of you are always like I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah.
Surprise! You never know what we're
Yeah.
going to say next.
All of a sudden, Brooks is like under his desk, or whatever. It's like it's fun. You guys have a good time, but we can see that coming through. We clearly all three of you have a huge passion for teaching and for the industry. So that's really awesome. Okay, so I want to actually turn it over to you right now because, I'm just gonna say, I would give a little hint. If I were you and I were watching this, I would pay attention right now. If you maybe want to win a prize later, I'm just giving you a hint. So I'm going to turn it over to you for a quick demo of one of the labs that you created. I know you created several labs for your course, but this specific one is on creating a VPC. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you kind of demo this.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. All right, so are you able to see my screen? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to demo creating a VPC with Amazon VPC, and so and I've already fired up the lab, but so I just kind of want to point out some things. So this is going to be a really simple lab to get you started creating a VPC on AWS, and I really love the interface actually for these labs compared to other lab interfaces that I've worked with. So first we have an overview where you can see, get an idea of what the scenario is, what the learning objectives are going to be, and then I always try to include an architecture diagram for you so that you understand what you're going to be building in the lab. So there's that. And then we have the tasks, which I have left kind of open-ended, and the idea is that you're doing this lab after you watch my videos, so you have I'm going to be showing you how to do it, and then you're going to be going here and you're going to be doing it yourself. So I've left the tasks a little, I don't have a lot of guidance. I'm kind of assuming that you've watched some things that you can figure this out. And then if you want, though, then there are solutions where I have the detailed step-by-step instructions for you if you really get lost in the weeds, which I hope you don't. So there's that. So then when you start the lab, I've already started the lab, like I said, but you select the region. And so this is going to open up and you sign the agreement for the AWS Cloud Playground terms and conditions. And so I'm just going to log in. But if you notice, I am in the AWS Management Council right now. So I am in a student account. So this is, as you'd expect, you are not using your own AWS account, you're using one that we provide to you. So that is, so that's new for our cloud courses that we're creating. And so thank you, engineering team, for helping get that going. And so the first thing that I have you do in the lab is figure out what are your subnet CIDRs. So you need to figure out your CIDR blocks, and so you're going to be creating a VPC. So we're going to go in here, and I'm just going to walk you through some of this. I'm not going to go through the entire lab with you, but I am just going to give you a flavor of what you're going to be doing in the lab. So we're going to create a VPC. Yeah, no. I like this interface better. They change things around all the time. But of course, I'm going to name this Clyde's VPC after my turtle. And I'm not going to give you the answers in this demo. I want you to figure out. So I'm changing the CIDR block and everything here for my VPC. So I'm creating the largest VPC possible in AWS, and I created that. And then we're going to divide this into subnets. So we're going to go over here, and I'm going to select Clyde's VPC. Like 1. I'll put it in US East 1A, CIDR block of 10.0.10. So I'm just going to quickly set this up and explain a few things after I go about this. So then I'll create a second subnet that I'll call private 1, same availability zone, and then I don't know if, so I'm based in Manhattan, and the reason that's relevant to this right now is that if you can hear crazy music going on outside, welcome to New York. So I'll explain things. So anyway, in the first step, you are going to figure out, because I can't type and talk at the same time apparently today. So in the first step of the instructions, you are going to be figuring out these CIDR blocks to your subnets on your own. But here, I'm just going to say create, and then AWS goes ahead and creates it. So now what I've done is I've created an isolated environment in the cloud in across multiple availability zones. So in the course of a few minutes, I have literally created a highly available networking environment. Now, this is a completely closed system. And even if I have another VPC in this account, which I do, the default VPC, they don't talk to each other yet. It's completely isolated. So it's isolated from other VPCs in this account, from other AWS accounts, from anyone on the outside trying to get in. And so that's the first thing. And so then I have to go and open this up. But in the lab, what I want to do is sort. And so I need to enable, so what I'm going to show you how to do is create a public subnet. So in order to do that, I'm going to simply go ahead and enable auto-assign public IPv4 address. So we see how to do that. So I need to do that for both. So what happens here is that any resources I launch are going to have a public IPv4 address, so they're publicly addressable. But literally, what I did in a couple of minutes is for what would take weeks to do in an on-prem environment, and getting servers in, and racking and stacking them, and drawing cables, and all of this stuff that I have never done, but I know that you've done it, experienced people. And so it's just to me, it's kind of insane to I feel like I just have so much appreciation for this technology, because it's my life is so much easier. It's like when I was in the lab, And it's like, yeah, I know back in the 80s, we were purifying antibodies on a column. And then when I came around, it's like, oh yeah, we could buy labeled antibodies and like use them to stain tissues and stuff. It's just like blows my mind, like the progress. So like, all right, anyway, that was a crazy story. I'm not sure why I wanted you to go down that rabbit hole with me, but there you go. So now we're going to start, so we have this isolated environment. Now we want to open it up. So we're going to create an internet gateway. And again, Clyde's IGW. Create that. So now we're going to attach it to a VPC, Clyde's VPC. So an internet gateway is the component that you need to allow traffic. It's the two-way door between your public subnet and the internet. But your subnet isn't public yet. So we need to create a route table. And we're going to call this public route table. We're going to associate it with Clyde's VPC, create that. And then we need to update the routes in our route table. So like right now we're looking at a route that just allows packets to flow within the VPC. Not very interesting if we want to connect to the internet, for example. So then we need to add a route. So we're pointing all IPv4 traffic to the internet gateway that we just created. We're going to save the changes. Guess what though? Our public subnet is still not public, the thing that we labeled public. So we have to associate this route table with our public subnets. So here they are. I'm going to save that. And now when we go to our subnets, let's check out private or public one. So now when we go to this route table, we see that that subnet is now associated with a route table that has a path pointing all traffic to the internet gateway. And so it's because of this is what AWS calls or considers a public subnet. So that is that. And then, in the lab, I'm going to have you go and create a NAT gateway so that you can allow your private resources to connect with the internet as well. But so that's something. And then, but I'm not going to do that here. Let's just test this out. So let's create an Ec2 instance. So we want to go in here. We're going to launch an instance, and I'll just call it web server for lack of I don't know, lack of something. All right. So then I'm going to create a key pair, Clyde's amazing KP. So I'm creating a key pair so that we can SSH into our Ec2 instance. So then I'm going to change the network settings. Again, select his VPC. And it would help if I put in the public, wouldn't it? So now you can see that that it has a public IPv4 address. So then we're going to put it in a security group. And so I'll just call it web SG. And so, and then in the course too, I talk about security groups and these being stateful firewalls that if you're allowing traffic to come in, that traffic is automatically allowed to go out. So I'm going to be breaking that down in the videos as well, but you're getting experience creating that here. So then we're going to allow SSH and HTTP traffic. And so, I mean, and you can see that I'm breezing through this rather quickly, but, this is unlike setting up a router on premises and configuring firewalls there. I mean, this is, I'm doing this fairly quickly, but it's just, this is something that I really want to drive home, mainly for the cloud native folks, that this is something we really take for granted, but this used to be like really challenging and would take a long time to do, and I'm just going through this here from anywhere. So so I'm allowing SSH traffic from my computer, I'm allowing HTTP traffic from anywhere. And because this is going to be a web server, let me put in a little bash script that will turn this into a web server. and then I'm going to say launch instance. And here, and another thing, it's like I literally have a server that I just spun up, and it wasn't weeks of waiting around for weeks waiting for approval to order a server and to spec things out. It's like I just created this in a few clicks, and that's pretty incredible. So no procurement cycles and all the things that they talk about. So that's pretty amazing. So now, while this is pending, another thing that you're going to be learning in the course is how to use Reachability Analyzer within VPC. So this will help you establish a path, so you can use this to help you troubleshoot your connectivity. So here, I just want to say EC2 to IGW. So I want to test that there's a path from my EC2 instance to the internet gateway. I'm going to choose EC2 instances, my web server. For my destination, I'm going to choose my internet gateway, and then Clyde's internet gateway, and then create and analyze path. And so this is going to run, and we're going to look at that in a moment, but it's going to tell me what the connection steps are in that pathway. So now, if we come back to the EC2 console, we see that our web server is running, and I'm going to copy the public IPv4 address, and I'm going to paste that in. And it's going to take a minute because it hasn't passed the status checks. That's still initializing. But I guess I'm hoping that you're getting a feeling, like if you are coming from the on-prem environment, I hope you're getting a feeling for how easy it is to do things in the cloud and get up and running. And so these are the things that you're going to be doing in the class, in the labs, and I hope that you enjoy that. So let's just see. All right, that's still not up and running, but maybe this will be. All right, so then it looks like we have a path here. So if we look at the Analysis Explorer, we see that our EC2 instance is connecting through the Elastic Network interface. So that's kind of like a NIC card on your EC2 that has the MAC address that holds a public IPv4 address. Then it's going and connecting to the security group, then to the network access control list, which is your stateless firewall. So that's going to be checking packets coming in and out of your network. Then that traffic's getting routed to the route table that's associated with that subnet, and then finally to the internet gateway. So if we come back, hopefully, man, I do not understand. I have a path. I'm not sure what's going on right now. Still initializing. Dang. All right. Well, anyway, not sure what's happening here, but that is what you're going to be doing in this lab. So, yeah, that's
live stream for you, right?
live stream.
It's not a real live stream unless something goes wrong.
Right. So I'll stop sharing, but yeah.
No, I think that's really enlightening, and to your point of just drawing the distinction between what you can do on-prem versus how easy it is to then do it in the cloud. I think that's very enlightening for a lot of people. I was just going through the comments. There's some great ones. Bob, Dr. Melissa dissecting the cloud. Yes, we love it. Go, Melissa, go. Good presentation, team, from and up. Awesome. So we thank you for that demo. Plenty more where that came from in Dr. Melissa's AWS Networking course. We want to get to what we have long promised you, a prize. Melissa, you have a bit of a trivia question for our viewers here. First one to answer, by the way, wins a $50 Amazon gift card. We will send it to you immediately within the hour. So go for it.
All right. So if you're paying attention to my demo, what is it that makes a public subnet? What is it that makes a subnet a public subnet in AWS?
What makes a subnet a public subnet in AWS? You went over that. You explained the answer very clearly. First person to weigh in with the correct answer across our social media platforms right now wins a prize. Krunal Dave writes IGW.
Internet gateway. Almost.
Almost. Snehal writes, let's see, VPC, Edmundo, I cannot say that for some reason. Internet gateway connection.
Vinny is on something here.
Mr. 7, enable public IPv4.
Vinny, I think
IPv4?
Yep.
Is that it?
It's having. I think he gets you get the first. It's having a path pointing all traffic to an internet gateway in the route table, and associating that route table with the public subnet.
So Mr. 7, enable public IPv4 with the win. We're going to give it to him?
Yeah, definitely is necessary too. But it's when you have a path in the route table pointing traffic to the internet gateway, but associating that route table with your subnet. That's what makes it public. It's not going to be public unless you have that association. So.
Okay. All right. So are we going to give the prize to Mr. 7? Are you going to call that the winner?
Mr. 7, I was actually thinking that Vineet Sadawari with the route table.
Oh, Vineet. Okay, Vineet
Yeah.
Sadawari with the route table. That was the key. Okay, all right.
That was the key.
There we go. So we're going to give it to Vineet Sadawari with the route table. That is what makes a subnet a public subnet in AWS. Congratulations. Contact us at, let me see the email address that we are sending you to. Queuing up my, bear with me for just a second. Let's see. I'm sure that our social team will be putting it in all the feeds. social@ine.com. Shoot us an email there. Let us know your email address, Vineet, and we will get that $50 Amazon gift card out to you pronto. Thank you guys all for weighing in there, and stay tuned because we're doing lots of fun giveaways on INE Live. Hey, we're going to wrap this up, but quick before we go, Melissa, I just want to ask, what are you working on next, right? You've just wrapped up this AWS networking course. What is next for Dr. Melissa?
I am currently working on an AWS storage course. So that is my project that's underway.
All right. And any fun surprises coming down the pike for you?
Probably, but I'm not going to share them yet.
All right, fair enough. We'll save that one for the encore as well. Melissa, thank you so much for being here, and thanks to the audience and all the people on chat for weighing in and making this a really fun hour for us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Catherine. I really enjoyed chatting with you, and I enjoy everyone's questions. And I guess in case I haven't driven this home enough, as a trainer, as a curriculum developer, it matters. Your feedback matters. So I want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly, what you loved, what you hated. I take it all to heart, and I really want to use your feedback to drive improvements in my courses. So I appreciate any time that you take to give me your feedback. It really means a lot to me. And I just want to make sure that's the best training available. So thank you so much for your questions and for your time.
Yeah, we do love the feedback loop here at INE, and if you're familiar with us, you know that we really prioritize that. We value it. Place a huge importance on it, and we love to hear the good, the bad, the ugly, so keep it coming for us. That is going to wrap up today's stream. Thank you so much for watching. If you missed it live, you can look for the replay across our social media channels and on the INE website. We are going to be live again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern for a special Raspberry Pi build and giveaway with our CEO, Richard McLean. This is going to be a really, really fun show. You're not going to want to miss it. Be sure to like and subscribe on the social media platform you're using so you can stay in the loop for details on that next stream and notifications whenever we go live. We'll see you next time. Until then, have a great week.